morning, dear students. Uh, in the last lecture, I think we are at the end of unit number third. Uh, just last applications of a converter are the remaining that we will see, and then we start the unit number four. But before to start unit number four, I just like to uh, ask you. Already we have completed our 3 units. Okay? So uh, how much you are able to write the answers on these 3 units. That is most important for me because there will be a definitely exam, INSEM exam as well as INSEM exam will be conducted uh, in the future. So that time, whatever we learn online, that you should remember, and at the same time you should able to write the answer on these questions, right? uh, so total there will be 8 or 9 converters that we have seen. Actually 9 is a broad topic, but if you see the minor topics, that is definitely more than 8 or 9, because in a three-phase converter, if you see, we have seen maybe more than 5 to 6 converters, right? So first of all, that is midpoint converter using PSCR for R load, then for RL load, and with a prevailing diode. So that may be a 3 questions. Then three-phase fully controlled converter and semi-converter. So again, a semi-converter with R load and with RL load. Similarly, three-phase fully controlled converter for R load as well as for RL load. Okay. So these are the 3 questions on midpoint converter. So there will be a total 7 questions only on three-phase converter. Similarly, in a single phase converters, we have seen half controlled converter, that is by using single SCR, then by using single SCR with RL load and then prevailing diode. So 3 questions on that. Then fully controlled converter, again same, that is for R load, for RL load and with prevailing diode. So total 6 questions. And there will be a 4 question semi converter, that symmetrical and asymmetrical semi-converters with R and with RL load. So that may be a 4 questions, and first four, total 8 questions, 8 plus is 7. So it may be approximately 15 topics we have covered during these lectures on unit number 3. Right? So these all topics we have already covered. Only one last topic, that is application of converter, is remaining. But before that, I'll just ask you what we have seen in the last lecture. So this is basically a diagram, maybe a wrong diagram actually, because these are not an SCR. Just so this is the SCR, and so this is a three-phase fully controlled converter for R load. Already we have seen this is for RL load. So it is very similar to the R load and working that is given here. But I'll just again want to ask you, uh, if you are having any problem in a three-phase fully controlled converter, then you can ask, right? So in this particular three-phase full controlled converter for R load, sorry, RL load, right? So inductive load, so large value of inductor is connected here. Uh, so that is the inductive load. Then the working as usual, uh, the one of one of the phase is having highest positive voltage, and one of the phase is having highest negative voltage. So two SCRs conduct at a time, maybe phase A and phase B having highest voltage. So T1 and T6 conducting, then T1, T1 and T2 conducting, then T3 and T2 conducting, then T3 and T4 conducting, then T4 and T5 conducting, then T5 and T6 conducting, and so on. So at a time, two SCRs are conducting. Initially, if we consider that the phase A is more positive with respect to phase B, then the SCR T1 and SCR T6 both are in forward bias condition. As soon as you apply the triggering pulse, now the most important thing in this particular converter, that is triggering pulses. You should apply the same triggering pulse to the T1 as well as T6. Otherwise, the working will not be proper. Okay, so you have to apply the same triggering pulse to the T1 as well as T6. This should be remembered. It is very important. Okay, two separate circuits if you are using, then definitely this circuit will not work properly. So same circuit, same triggering circuit is used to trigger T1 as well as T6. This should be keep in your mind. At a time, both SCRs, that is T1 and T6, should be conduct. Only that time you will get a proper output voltage. Otherwise, your output is not maybe a proper. So same triggering pulse, it means the same circuit is used to trigger the T1 and T6. Then after 60 degree, T6 is turns off and T1 turns on, because A is still more positive, but now C is more negative. So if C is more negative, then T1 and T2 turns on, right? Again for 60 degree. Now total on time of T1 is 60 plus 60, because T1 is on for 60 degree with the T6 and T1 is on for 60 degree with the T2. So total on period of a T1 is 120, 120, right? Now then T1 maybe turns off, then next will T3 on, because the B is more positive, still C is a negative. So T3 and T2 on. After that, the C is may becoming a positive and A is becoming a negative. So T4 is on. So T3 and T4 is on for next 60 and so on. So keep in mind, every pair conducting for 60 degree, each SCR conduct for 120. So each SCR conducts in a two pair, like T1 T6, T1 T2. So T1 conduct with T6 as well as with a T2. Similarly, T1 T2, T2 T3. So T2 conduct with the T1 for 60 degree, T2 conduct with the T3 for 60 degree. So total conduction time for T2 is again 120. The pair conducts for 60, individual SCR conducts for 60, sorry, 120 degree. So keep in mind this, whenever the phase A is more positive, T1 is in forward bias. With that, maybe either T6 or maybe either T2. It will be on, right? So see, you can see here, if A is positive, then definitely the T4 is never conducting, because if A is positive, T4 is always in reverse bias condition. Only T1 is in forward bias condition. At the same time, either B is more negative or C is more negative. So once T6 will conduct, second time T2 will conduct, because the T1 is conducting for 120. So once T1, T6, then T1, T2. After that, T2, T3 conducts. It means that the B is more positive. If B is more positive, then T6 will never conduct, because the two SCRs in the same arm will never conduct. Two SCRs in the same arm will never conduct at a time. Keep in mind, when T1 is conducting, T4 will never conduct. When T3 is conducting, T6 never conduct. Similarly, when T5 is conducting, T2 will never conduct. Keep in mind, these are the very important points. If T1 is conducting, it means that the A is positive. If A is positive, T4 is always in reverse bias condition. So T4 will never conduct. Similarly, if B is more positive, T6 will never conduct. Whenever the C is more positive, T2 will never conduct. Right? Because if that terminal is positive, only one SCR in a one arm is conducting at a time. right? So if T1 is conducting, then definitely either T6 or T2 is conducting with a T1. Similarly, when T3 is conducting, either T4 or T2 is conducting with, right, with it. And last one, when T5 is conducting, then T4 or T6 is conducting with the T5. Very simple to remember, dear student, very simple to remember. If T1 is conducting, it means that T4 never, right? Because A is positive, so T1 is followed by it. That time, either B is more negative or C is more negative. So depending upon if B is more negative, then T6 conduct, T1, T6. Then if C is more negative, then T1, T2 conduct, and so on. Okay. So keep in mind, in the same R, this T3, T6 or T5, T2 or T1, T4 will never conduct at the same time. If it conducts, it means that your circuit is failed to work. Okay. So it never conducts both SCR in the same R. Either T1 conducts, either T3 conducts or T5 conducts at a time, one SCR, and at the same time T4, T6 or T2 will conduct. But if T1 conducts, T4 never conducts. If T3 conducts, T6 never conducts. If T5 conducts, then T2 will never conduct. Keep in mind, very simple to understand, very simple to understand. If T1 is conducting, it means that A is positive. So that time maybe B is more negative or C is more negative. One of the terminal is more negative. If B is more negative, A6 conduct. If C is more conductive, negative, then T2 conduct. So pair will be T1, T6 or T1, T2 will conduct at this time, right? So this is the working of this circuit. Now, already many times I explained you about the inductive load. What happens with inductive load? If T1 and T6 is conducting, initially we consider that A and B. So VAB will be flow. So A, then R, then inductor. So it starts to store the energy with the polarity as shown in figure. Then current will flow through T6 and then to the B, right? So this time the inductor will store the energy in its magnetic field with the polarity as shown in the figure. Now, what happens whenever the T1 becomes a negative, or maybe a A is become a negative, so T1 should be turned off by natural commutation. But because of the inductor store the energy, whenever the terminal A is more negative or become a negative, immediately the polarity of stored charge get reversed and inductor will continuously deliver the energy that we have seen here with this. Okay. This is actually a alpha equal to 0. If alpha equal to less than 30, it means total alpha is equal to 60. So you will get a output like this. Then after that, with the resistive load, you will get discontinuous. But with inductive load, you will get the positive part as well as the negative part, right? So positive negative part at alpha equal to 90, if you see here, it is same. So positive and negative part is, if it is same, the output is equal to 0. Then alpha equal to 150, you will get 90. So this time the source, sorry, load feed the energy to the source. So operation is called as a inverting operation. Now the last part, applications of a phase controlled rectifier. Already 2-3 times I explained the applications of these controlled rectifiers while uh, teaching the different topics under the unit number 3. But again, I'll tell you the same application. One of the most important application is a high voltage DC transmission. This will already we have discussed this application. So high voltage DC transmission, because AC transmission system requires maybe a 4 wire, right? And definitely there are maybe a lots of uh, energy losses in a AC transmission. So conversion of AC into DC with the help of converters, and then transmit that DC through a single wire or maybe a 2 wire. So in a DC transmission, only single or two wires are sufficient to transmit the energy from one place to another place, right? Even in a DC transmission, there is a very less uh, losses. Even losses is almost zero in a DC transmission. So DC transmission is more useful uh, than AC transmission because of less number of wires required. And the second one, that is the uh, less energy losses, right? So that's why the DC transmission is required. Now DC transmission, it means conversion of AC to DC is required, because most of the energy generated, or maybe uh, uh, whatever the generation power generation centers are there, so they basically generates AC power. So that AC power should be first converted to the DC and then transmit for the uh, longer distance via DC transmission. So AC to DC conversion, that is rectifiers are required. Maybe a high power rectifiers are required, or high power converters are required, control converters. Then battery charger. We know that our mobile requires a charging, right? So even your mobile charger is also include AC to DC converter, because you are directly using the AC source to connect your charger, mobile charger. So in mobile charger, there will be a circuit called as AC to DC, because your mobile charging is accomplished on only DC, right? Not on a AC, because it is a battery. So battery required DC voltage. So battery charger, then flexible speed industrial drives, right? Now, in industry, there are maybe a various drives. For example, traction belt, or maybe another type of drives. So that drives required a DC motor, right? So every time to use batteries for DC power source or DC power supply, that is not a convenient. So again, conversion of AC to DC with the help of power converters, and then that DC is used to control the speed of that DC drive. Okay, so DC drives. Then portable hand instrument drives, for example, multimeters or any other devices, that again, uh, not multimeter actually, that is portable hand instruments drives. Again, it is a drive. So drives required DC source. You can maybe provide battery even, but battery is not convenient. So again, conversion of AC to DC is required. So that is accomplished with the help of a phase control rectifiers. Then reactor controls electrometallurgical and electrochemical processes, AC feed traction using DC traction motors, and all other the phase control rectifier application includes paper mill, textile mills using DC drives, and DC motor control in a steel mills. So these are the some applications. Even one last application is given called as a UPS. UPS is also a circuit which converts AC to DC, and then the energy is fed to the battery for the charging purpose. So these are the some applications of phase controlled rectifiers. This is the last part of your unit. These are some additional information for you, and this is the last or end of your unit number 3 from my side. Okay. Now we have maybe a 20 minutes more in this lecture. So you may ask the questions. Otherwise, I'll start the unit number 4, right? So you have the time to ask the questions on unit number 3rd. I'll just start what we have seen in a unit number 3 from the start. This is a syllabus. At the initially, we have seen controlled and uncontrolled converters or rectifiers. So the difference between these two, uncontrolled and controlled rectifiers, is seen in this unit. Then classification of rectifiers based on control. So that is a controlled rectifier. It has only thyristor, no diodes. Then half controlled, it has a thyristor plus diodes, and uncontrolled only diodes. So controlled rectifiers and half controlled rectifier is a part of this unit number 3. Uncontrolled rectifiers already we have seen in a first year or second year, that is rectifiers, half wave rectifier, full rectifier, and bridge rectifier. Then classification of these rectifiers already we have seen. These PPTs already I shared with you, so you have the each and every part, right? Then phase controlled rectifiers, that is again the applications are given here. Uh, that's why I have told you application already we have seen at the start of unit. Even last part is again application. That's why I again explain the applications of control rectifier. Now classification of control rectifier: single phase, half wave, control rectifier for R load and for RL load. So by using one SCR, that is a single phase half wave control rectifier with RL load and R load, that is by using one SCR. Then single phase half wave control rectifier with RL load and freewheeling diode. So these are the same circuit in which we are using R load, then we are using RL load, and then we are using RL load with a freewheeling diode. So by using one SCR and one resistor, that is the circuit first, then one SCR and one resistor and inductor, that is second circuit, and in third circuit, resistor, inductor with plus freewheeling diode. Now the use of freewheeling diode, uh, when inductor release the energy, it release the energy from load to source, right? So that time the working will be called as an inverter. So if you want to avoid that negative part of your cycle, you can connect a freewheeling diode so that load current may be continuous, but the power that is fed from load to source may be avoided. Then single phase full wave control rectifier for RL load, for R load, and then again RL with freewheeling diode. So you can see here first three on the same circuit, next three on again the same circuit, right? Then seven, that is called semi converter. Then eight, semi converter, again there are two types. One is called symmetric, another is called as a asymmetric. Both we have seen, right? So semi converter also called as half control because it consists of two SCR and two diodes, and that's why it is called as a semi converter. Okay. Then three phase control, half control, we have already seen half control and three phase full control. So midpoint converter for R load, for RL load, and for freewheeling diode, three topics. And for three phase full wave control converter for R load and for RL load, and even by with freewheeling diode. So again, these are the three different topics, and even semi converter are the two topics that already we have covered. Then depending upon the single pulse, two pulse, three pulse, and six pulse. So single pulse called as a single phase half control converter. Two pulse, then it may be a full wave converter. Three pulse, that is a midpoint converter, and six pulse, that is three phase fully controlled converter. This is the first one that already we have seen, right? Then average power is depends upon a VO average is depends upon the alpha cos alpha, right? This is with RL load. Then next one is with a freewheeling diode. So single phase half controlled converter for R load, for RL load, and with a freewheeling diode. Then single phase full wave controlled converter, all four SCRs are used. Dear students, again I want to tell you one most important thing. All the converters showing the SCRs, right? So SCR is a power device. Power device required gate drive circuit as well as protection circuits. So both circuits are not shown in a figure. Many times I told you, but we have to consider that the gate drive is required. It means there will be a gate drive circuit. Something gate drive circuit will be there definitely. Otherwise, these SCR will never conduct, right? And even protection circuit is also required. That is also not shown here for simplicity, right? So protection circuit, without protection circuit, no SCRs may be used in a circuit. So that two things, that is a protection circuit and the gate drive circuits, both is not shown in a figure for simplicity. Okay, so keep in mind it should be there but not shown in a figure. So it means that that is always present. So at the time of practical, I have shown share four practicals with you on YouTube. Even I share the link, and even I share the link of all the lectures, video lectures, right? So whatever lectures we have conducted, if you are having any problem, you can repeatedly ask the same thing. Even even if you have any doubt, you can ask me even in a lecture, or maybe in a maybe after the lecture, right? So you can everyone should log into the YouTube and check the videos, right? Uh, Whatever doubts you have, you can maybe clear your doubts from that lecture. If it is still in your mind, you can call me and you can solve your doubts. Even if the students are maybe living near to the Sangamner or in a Sangamner, even they can come to the college and they can ask the questions. That is also possible for you. Okay, so the two things, drive circuit, gate drive circuit and protection circuits, definitely with the circuit, these full wave control rectifier, but that is not shown in a circuit diagram. So keep in mind it is always present. So these are the output waveforms, the working of a circuit, and these are the equations for IO average, VO average, and VO RMS. Then full wave control converter for RL load. So with RL load, it means there will be a negative part, so that is shown here, positive as well as negative part. The working is given, equations, and then last one is a freewheeling diode, so that the negative part is cut. The negative part is cut in a waveform. So these are the single phase converters. Then this is a semi converter, right? This is a symmetric semi converter. T1 and T2 both are connected in a single arm, and two diodes in a second arm. So in a semi-converter, you are connecting R load, RL load, whatever it may be, the negative part is always opposite, right? Because the diode itself acts as a freewheeling diode, right? So this is for semi-converter. Now it is asymmetric, two SCRs, T1, diode D1, T2, diode D2. Again, same thing, the negative part is absent. In a semi-converter, negative part is always absent. Even your load is inductive because the diode D1 or diode D2 will act as a freewheeling diode. So the negative part will be omitted. It means that when T1 is conducting and T2 is conducting, that time inductor stores the energy, and when supply get reversed, diode D to D1 is in forward bias, so current flows through D1 T1 back to the R, so that the negative part that is maybe omitted or maybe a removed. So these two converters already we have seen. After that, we have seen three phase supply, right? So in a three phase supply, in a three phase supply, uh, there are three phases: phase A, phase B, and phase C. If you measure with respect to the neutral, it will be 220 volt. And if you measure the voltage between two phases, it is called as a line voltage. And the value of line voltage is equal to 440 volt. The line voltage is VAB, VAC, VBC, VBA, VCA, VCB, and again a VAB. So total six line voltage: one, two, three, four, five, and six, right? And three phase voltages. If you see the phase angle between, or phase difference between phase A and phase B is 120, right? Then phase B and phase C is again 120, and same thing, right? So phase difference between two phases is 120. If you see the phase difference between two line voltages is equal to 6. Right? The phase difference between two line voltage is 60. Again 60, 60, and so on. So 60, 60, six phase voltage line voltages total equal to 360. Similarly, 120, 120, 120 total is 360. So already we have seen these, how to generate three phase and everything. This is a midpoint converter, or you can also call it as a three pulse converter. Pulse 1, pulse 2, and pulse 3. So it is also called as a 3 pulse converter. Then this is actually a midpoint converter. So at a time one SCR is conducting, the current flows through that SCR load back to the neutral, right? So this is the working. If alpha equal to 0, you will get output like this. That is a 3 pulses during one complete cycle. Alpha equal to 30, still you are getting a continuous. But if your alpha is greater than 30, then you will get a discontinuous operation. That already we have seen. Then with RL load, right? Then 3 phase half control, also called as a semi converter, 3 SCR and 3 diode that we have discussed. Then last one is a 3 phase fully controlled for R load and for RL load. For R load, only RL is discontinuous or maybe a break. So this is called as R load. And for RL load, the RL is connected. And even with freewheeling diode, so one additional diode you can connect here. So that is called as a 3 phase converter with a freewheeling diode. Okay. So this is the working of all of these converters. Okay. So now it's a time 10:03. So you have a 2 minute to give your attendance privately. Huh? Don't give publicly. So give your attendance in a chat box privately for just 2 minutes. Because again, after 2 minutes, I'll not accepting at up to the 10:05. It's just 10:03 a.m. So at 10:05 a.m. or after 10:05 or maybe at 10:06, I will never mark your attendance as a present. So immediately, just 2 minutes for you to mark the attendance while I'll just open the unit number 4. Okay. So this is the unit number 4. Your attendance, just 2 minutes to give the attendance privately in a chat box. 1 minute is remaining. Okay. So your time is over. Now, those are present again at the end. In the last minute, I'll taking again a snapshot on my mobile so that I compare how many students will left the class after giving attendance. Okay. So don't leave the class after giving attendance. Otherwise, again, you will maybe made as a maybe absent. So last 4 to 5 minutes are remaining. So we'll start the unit number 4th. Unit number 4th is DC to AC converter, right? In the last unit, we have seen AC to DC converter, that is called as rectifiers, and now DC to AC converters called as a inverter. Okay, so everyone maybe might very well known about the inverters. Okay, now the time is over. Don't give the attendance. It will be still marked as absent. So DC to AC converter. See, dear student, inverters are the circuits which are normally used at our home or maybe in industry, maybe in offices, maybe in a corporate office, maybe in institution, right? simply when the mains is off, that time whatever the batteries which store the energy, that energy converted to the AC, and that AC is used to operate the uh, home appliances or maybe office appliances, right? So this is the known, uh, but it is actually wrong, because the inverters are not only used for to operate home appliances during the mains off, or maybe to operate the office appliances, or some maybe industrial drives during the mains off, right? So it is not like that. Inverters not only used when the mains is off, even inverters are always used even the mains is on, right? So that is actually the application of inverter. One of the most and beautiful example that everyone knows. Now we are using uh, electronic chokes, right, in our maybe tubes which are used at our home or maybe offices or maybe in a college. So in that tube, we are using electronic chokes, right? So whatever the electrical chokes which are maybe in a heavy in a size and having so many problems, so that are overcome with the electronic choke. So even electronic chokes uh, are the circuits which works on very high frequency, right? So how to generate a very high frequency at a high power? So the most important part required is high power at high frequency, right? So inverter is not a circuit which just convert the AC to, sorry, DC to AC, but the most important is the AC which is generated by inverter is variable frequency. See, this is most important. Variable frequency, right? So the circuit, that is inverter, is a circuit which converts DC into AC for fixed or variable frequency with a fixed voltage, right? Even you can have maybe a variable voltage, but the most important is variable frequency, because whatever the three-phase supply available with us having a 50 hertz constant frequency, right? So you cannot change that frequency. So frequency is a constant, so you cannot change the frequency. Even you can change the voltage level, but if you require variable frequency, another example, that is induction cooker or induction that is induction heater or induction shading, right? I don't know exactly what is the meaning of that. Or even microwave oven, right? Microwave oven is one of the best example. So microwave, it means microwave frequencies are there. So microwave frequencies, uh, maybe microwave